Hi, Rich.
Hi, Jack. What's that shirt you're wearing?
Why, this is the shirt I got for being a Kickstarter backer for the Double Fine adventure game.
Oh. Let's talk about that.
So Broken Age is a point-and-click adventure game. You point and click to move around your character. You pick up different objects, you manipulate objects,
You solve various types of puzzles while this kind of narrative thing is going on. What is your history with adventure games?
I want to say the first adventure game I ever played was this thing for the PS Vita called Machinarium. And it's this nice, simple little point-and-click adventure game. I also played the Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery EP, which is a really atmospheric point-and-click adventure for the iPhone. Since the Kickstarter, I've played some text adventure games, which I've really enjoyed. Can I push the rock? I have it all queued up. If he comes over here, I'm going to push the rock on him.
Okay.
Ready? Here it comes. Here it comes. Come over here. Come over here. Ready? Now. Oh my God. I totally got him.
That was exciting.
It was not. I'm new to the genre.
I'm not usually that fond of the point and click. See, I grew up with more like the Sierra games where you actually kind of like typed in what you did.
Pick up rock? Done.
Okay. You have rock.
I have a rock now.
And then they started making the point and clicks, and the point and click adventure games are kind of like the casual games of the adventure game set.
Wow.
See, my preference is for the text ones because you had to think outside the box about what you were going to do. The title isn't go to the toilet. The title is don't shit your pants.
Oh,
Take off pants.
Rich Evans, you're a genius.
Shit.
That's
And when I play the point and clicks, oftentimes when I see something I can interact with, I just start dragging various things out of my inventory on it to see if something happens. And I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not thinking, well, I can use this to do that. I'm just, what is the thing I have to click on?
And I think that is a really accurate description of Broken Age, where, for me, especially in Act 1, I solved the majority of puzzles by just going through every single dialogue tree without thinking about it, without paying attention. Like, there weren't any puzzles in Act 1.
Yeah.
You pick up a spoon, and in the next area it says, a spoon would work here. There was no thinking involved in Act 1. And I think that in an adventure game, they want the player to feel clever. And I did not feel clever.
But they also have to keep in mind that dumb people are playing their game.
I don't care about dumb people.
And if a dumb person can't figure out the puzzle, he's not going to feel clever. Just saying.
Yeah, but that doesn't help me. I'm only slightly above a dumb person, and I felt a little insulted. But there's another big component to adventure games, which is the story element.
Yeah. You have these two completely disparate storylines going on. There's a boy in a spaceship being raised by computers, and then there's a little girl who's supposed to be a human sacrifice for the ancient village monster that attacks the villages. And you can switch back and forth between these two characters, and I do like that because if you're stuck on a puzzle with like the Shay, the boy, you can switch over, develop, and work on that storyline for a bit. So I did like that. I want to say that now. I know you want to move on to story.
Well, no. My issue with the switching back and forth is I really liked it, and later on in the game, there are certain puzzles in which you need to switch back and forth, and that's where I thought the game really shined.
Yeah, that was clever. That was unique.
That was the only good puzzles, is when you had to notice something in Vella's storyline that you could use in Shay's. That was brilliant and wonderful. The only problem is it happened twice. It only happened twice. There were 2 good puzzles in this game.
Two puzzles earlier on that require switching, and then the whole end. There's like a whole end segment where there's things you could do switching back and forth between them.
But that's it.
Yeah, there could have been more of that.
And I was really confused because I made it through the entire first act without switching back and forth. I got stuck and didn't know that I had to switch back and forth, so that should have been something set up earlier.
It was set up by the fact that you could switch characters anytime you wanted.
Generally in a video game, when you have a mechanic like that, you have an instance early on in which you cannot pass until you use the mechanic. In Super Mario Brothers, you run across a pit. You cannot move forward in the game unless you jump over the pit. You have to jump in the game. Boom, done. If somewhere in the beginning of the game a puzzle would have showed up and you could not pass that puzzle until you switched characters, oh, we can switch back and forth, how fun, then all of my complaints would be null and void. But they dumped that on us 8 hours into the game, and all I felt was frustrated.
See, and here's the thing with Tim Schafer. And maybe this is my bias because my adventure game feelings lean towards like the text-typey side more so than the point-and-clicky. My opinion of Tim Schafer has always been that he's not so much a great game designer as he is a clever writer.
Yes.
And when I see a Tim Schafer game, I don't expect to be wowed by amazing gameplay mechanics. I expect to be charmed by amusing characters, and I expect to laugh several times or more.
And there were that. The character, if you look at Broken Age as a clever dialogue generator, A+.
She's got an axe! Run! She's a murderer!
Okay, look, I'm getting rid of the axe, okay? Just stop screaming, please.
Ow! My trunk! I'm losing sap!
Murderer!
All of the characters are very fun. The dialogue is clever and funny. But there's this interaction thing that it's completely lacking. For example, there was a moment very early on in the game where you're playing as Shay, and Shay has these it's this wonderful like fake missions he goes on, and they're all like kid-friendly missions, and he can't fail any of them, and the fact that he can't fail any of them is really upsetting to him. It's a good character building moment. The only problem is, like, there's this one section, you're riding in a train and your little friends say, it's time to do the wave. And there are 2 options that you can click on. And one is, no, I don't want to do the wave. And 2 is, yeah, let's do the wave. And if you click, yeah, let's do the wave, your character then says, no, I don't feel like it.
It's because it's something that happens later on. They should have just not had that at all.
This is what I'm saying.
I'll agree with that, yeah. What this is, see, what they sold this game as was, we're gonna make another Tim Schafer adventure game. And then they made another Tim Schafer adventure game. This is the genre. Now, if you bought into this not really knowing much about adventure games, you just got caught up in the hype, you don't really have much room, yes, exactly. I don't think you have much room to complain because they delivered exactly what they said they were going to deliver. It's exactly what it said on the tin. We're going to make another Tim Schafer adventure game. There it is.
And it could be that I'm just not a fan of the genre.
Yes.
That's maybe what I'm learning.
So, what's your name?
Carl?
Carl?
No, Carl. It's Carol, with some of the letters removed for reasons that are too stupid to repeat.
One of the things that bothered me the most about the game was that almost all of the puzzles could be described as a fetch quest, which in any other game is like the tedious filler. But that's all this game was.
That sounds like an adventure game. It sounds like a point and click. Yeah. You grab this and then you click on things to see if it interacts with those things. I don't know.
I don't know. As a game, I'm very disappointed. I would love to have someone just actually edit the story.
Well,
Like,
That's the thing with Tim Schafer. He missed his calling. He needs to be making animated movies or animated TV shows. Tim Schafer needs a TV series on Cartoon Network. That's what Tim Schafer needs.
Oh no, and by the way, like if Broken Age was a movie, if it was 90 minutes and you cut out all the game elements and just have this beautiful little intertwining those seemingly disparate story, I think I would really enjoy that.
I mean, I want to talk about the story just for a little bit. I mean, you start with these completely different things. It doesn't seem like they relate at all. You can switch between Shay or Vela. And thematically, the two stories don't really seem to have that much in common. The settings are completely different, and yet the game manages to tie them together at some point. And I thought it was very clever the way the game did that.
And I agree. And more so, at the beginning of Act 2, they switch places. And then Shay is running around the town and Vela is running around the spaceship, and you get to explore areas that you know already from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And from a writing point of view, it's brilliant. It's like just the way that the people interact with, even though like you already know everyone in Cloud Village.
Yeah.
Interacting with Shay with them was a completely different experience. And I really liked that. I really dug that from a story perspective. And yeah, and they never copped out as far as this is a boy and this is a girl. I guess they're in love now, you know, like they
They only meet at the briefly in the middle and at the very end.
One of my favorite parts of the story is when Vela took a swing at Shay.
they meet for the first time. Oh, they're finally going to be together, and she takes a swing at him.
That's brilliant. The story was really great. I wish that the puzzles were as good as the story or the character.
For a point-and-click adventure game, I thought the puzzles were pretty good on the whole.
All the puzzles are so light, don't you think?
No.
Like you have the lady who wants to go fishing, but she can't make a hook. You have a hook-shaped thing in your inventory. You give her the hook. It's like it's all so light, except for those shining examples of hopping back and forth between stories. I felt like all the puzzles fell flat.
Can you help me kill Mog Chothra?
Ah, what a thing to say.
Did you just lay that?
No, it fell out of my pile of... it must have been... Pay no attention to that.
I would like to make special note now of something I did have a big problem with, voice acting.
Yeah.
A couple of the voice actors were really great. Elijah Wood does a voice, Jack Black does a voice, Will Wheaton does a voice. Vela, on the other hand, whoever did her voice was phoning it in.
I thought she was fine.
Every time she was saying something like emotional or like she was scared, I didn't buy it for a moment.
There's a giant monster that is destroying villages and eating young girls, and it may or may not have already... My whole family might be... Anyway, I just need to take down a horrible monster. Will you help?
Man, she was just flat. And you know, you're with her for half the game.
She has the best story bits.
She does, yeah. Yeah, and it fell especially flat for me because of bad voice acting. I'm very sorry.
It was fine.
I'm very sorry, Miss whoever did the voice of Vela. I'm sure you're very talented. Or not, I don't know. Special note, the art.
Yeah.
I thought it looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought it looked beautiful, and in a refreshing change of pace, it's not pixel art, and it...
Kind of like storybook painting, almost. Yeah.
Like everything's
yeah.
a watercolor.
Yeah.
Like things had brush strokes on them, and it has its own unique look, and that deserves special commendation. So, good job, whoever did the art. You guy.
I'll let you get back to your screaming.
Yeah, please leave before I vomit, you foul, rootless stump.
Do you recommend The Broken Age?
That's the question.
My recommendation is, you know already if this is for you or not. You don't need my recommendation. This was made for a very specific audience. And you might expect more because the Kickstarter made $400 million. But he only said he was going to make a Tim Schafer point-and-click adventure game. He gave you a decent Tim Schafer point-and-click adventure game. And that's how they play. And if you don't like it, you fell into the hype.
It's like, I'm struggling with whether or not I would recommend it.
Yeah.
Every single character is wonderfully written, fully realized, unique, has clever dialogue. All the characters I loved.
Yeah.
The game, not so much. Overall, I almost had a good time.
Does that count?
That counts.
As a recommendation?
That counts.